spot on, fresh and direct on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Credible journalism, bridging the gap between people and those in authority. With Hard Facts, you are sure to get only the facts.
Tune in to Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria. This is Hard Facts on Nigeria Info 99.3 FM. My name is Shegwarinze.
This is the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station. Then we are broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Lagos. 4 minutes gone past the 5 o'clock hour. Welcome to the Big Hard Facts. Normally we would be having Balogun on board today, but we're looking at the situation in Edo State. We're going to tie it to several other cases of insecurity that has somewhat moved from the north into this part. Recently, if not just before Christmas, the governors of the Southwest decided that they were going to meet and discuss about the insecurity that has quietly crept into the Southwest, and the governors had vowed that they would deal with it head on. Now, the governors in the South have not necessarily had that meeting. We've seen the Northeast and the Northwest governors have meetings on insecurity. But what are the actionable plans that have been put in place to deal with this? Let me give you some statistics before I introduce my guest. He's joined us via Zoom. Thank goodness he didn't have to get stuck in that traffic today. As at January this year, on the 13th of January, if I'm not mistaken, at least 40 farmers were killed in Borno State. 40 were killed in Borno State. In Ebonyi State, there was a terrible massacre that happened that has been underreported. Just a few days ago, it happened in Benue and then Uromi. Several others had happened in Uromi, by the way, but had not been as reported as what happened on that Saturday. My guest is joining us, and of course we're going to be talking about the politicization of insecurity in this country, and of course why we're where we are today. In fact, in 2025, still talking about unknown gunmen, farmers headers clash, Boko Haram, banditry. We've given it all kinds of nomenclatures, but we're yet to deal with it head on. My guest is a former presidential candidate for the AAC, and he is a journalist. He doesn't like for me to call him a journalist. He calls himself a busybody, but he's a journalist, and he's joining us live via Zoom. Mr. Omoyele Sowore, it's so good to have you join us. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Yes, good evening, and it's good to be on your show.
Great. I know that, of course, your media outlet publishes all of these stories every now and again, and most importantly, why we're all talking about the Uromi situation is because there has been some ultimatum of sorts that has been given to Mr. President by the Northerners, even though everyone has condemned what happened that day in Uromi. But what we're discussing today is what is at the core, or what triggered that action in Uromi. We've had several people complain. I think my colleague played a clip of a king from one of those areas that was kidnapped himself and had to look for money to free himself in his own homestead. Why do you think that in 2025 we're still having these conversations and, of course, threats of reprisal attacks because a certain group of people were killed, and then maybe based on intelligence that was not very intelligent? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you now. I lost you for a second there. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you. Did you hear my question?
Yes. Yeah, I did hear. The situation is that I think, and I've spoken to this particular theory for a while now, that the Nigerian state and those governing it actually love the chaos that is enveloping the nation, because they are incapable of governing a whole nation that is at peace and looking for progress. And as a result, they allow so many of these things to fester. I don't know how it is possible in a state like Uromi. Uromi is not just one small village. It's not a backwater. It's pretty much along the expressway. How some people were captured, interrogated. There was allegedly someone stabbed, and you couldn't find the Nigeria police force in sight to intervene. You can't find any of the security agencies to immediately get intelligence, send signals or make calls or work.
Oh, Mr. Sowore, we're having connection issues with you. We can barely hear you. Oh my goodness. We're losing your connection and we can barely hear you. Is it possible for you to change your connection? We can barely hear you. Oh my goodness. We cannot hear you. Your network is breaking and you are frozen.
It doesn't happen.
Oh dear.
Can you hear me?
We're gonna take a quick break and let you sort out your connection and then bring you back in. If you're just joining us, this is the Big Hard Facts, and we're looking at the situation, the insecurity in Nigeria, the politicization of insecurity, and the Uromi killings, tying it to all of the other situations that we've experienced across the country in the past years. The fact that some of these stories are underreported, the fact that some of these stories are not even reported, the fact that we have decided what names to give to what group of people, and the fact that anybody who looks like a certain group of people can be characterized as a terrorist. Is that failure on the part of the media? Is it government? Is it security agencies? These are questions that are begging for answer. And my guest is here to help us maybe make sense of what's happening across the country. Because until we're able to answer all of these questions, we might continue to go around in this circle of politicization of what we call insecurity. Now, just for the benefit of those who are joining us, I'm going to play a clip. Yesterday, the governor of Edo State, Maryann Okon, said that what was happening, or what had happened in Uromi, was done to portray his government in a bad light. And then, of course, we now have the APC spokesperson for Edo State speaking also about the fact that this was perpetuated by the PDP. While my guest is trying to get his connection right, here is once again the APC spokesperson speaking on the Uromi killings.
Their sinister objective is clear. They want to force President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to declare a state of emergency in Edo State because they have no confidence in securing victory at the Edo Election Petition Tribunal. In their desperation, they have resorted to acts of sabotage, hoping to manipulate public perception and judicial settlement in their favor. As part of their plan, they have enlisted disbanded members of the Edo State Security Network to orchestrate acts of violence, as seen in Uromi, Esan Northeast Local Government Area. Their aim was firstly implicate Edo State government in their disruption, creating a narrative that foster chaos and sympathy for their failed cause. They are also exploiting the composition of the tribunal, where 2 of the 3 judges are from the north, hoping to sway their ruling through deceit and unrest.
That is the APC spokesperson there speaking about the deceit, I beg your pardon, and unrest, allegedly that the APC is trying to bring to bear. Mr. Sowore, I don't know if you heard a bit of what the APC spokesperson said there about what happened in Uromi. First, it was the governor who implied that what happened in Uromi was to portray his government in a bad light. And then the APC spokesperson in Edo State is saying that all of these things were perpetrated by the PDP because, in his words, they are not sure of what the outcome will be at the tribunal, the governorship tribunal. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this.
I just think that it's probably one of the most ludicrous arguments I've heard today. Since this whole crisis started, I don't think there is anybody left in some of these political parties with common sense anymore. I think they just repeat the same rubbish that somebody has told them to say. They keep passing it on. They don't even check. They don't even think of history. They don't think that one day they could have kids who would say, "Daddy, did you actually say this in 2025? What came upon you?" That's all I can see in the rubbish that I just heard. How could you reduce the loss of lives, the failure of the government to, they're expecting a tribunal hearing or tribunal outcome. So if you kill 14 Northerners and they're killed by PDP people, the police has arrested some people. Have they found PDP badges in their pocket or their voters cards or registration ID cards? Nobody has said that. So, but I think it doesn't matter anymore to these guys what they say. They know this country is Jurassic Park. You can just say anything and get away with it. They know people don't question, and they themselves don't even have to put any thinking through for them to say some of this ridiculous stuff. But it also trivializes the quality of leadership, and those states is imagined as one of the places where, they just put poor quality leaders in place. But Edo is not alone, it's everywhere. There's a crisis of leadership across the country. This is going on and the country is falling apart. Where did your president go on a walking visit to France, right? Not a walking visit to Edo State. Any serious leader where things work, if there is a natural disaster in the U.S., within 24 hours, the president is supposed to visit, supposed to be on ground, is supposed to be the father of the nation, supposed to be empathy, there's supposed to be sympathy, support, there's supposed to make declarations. But here you are, the APC people are talking rubbish, and the APC leader has fled the country on a walking visit to France. How many times do you go to work in France in a year? That's the question. But here we're in Nigeria. It's Nigeria. It's just things are falling apart.
There was also a slaughter in Ebonyi State. The reason why we're having this conversation is Edo State government has, for some reason, brought politics into this situation. But then these killings have happened in several other places, like I said earlier on, that have been either reported or underreported or not reported at all. Is there a role of the politicization of this issue in how we've not been able to handle it? Now, the DSS is going to look for those who were perpetrators of the lynching in Esang. The people in Ebonyi, I've had calls over and over and over about the media not shining its light on what has happened in Ebonyi, or even in the southeast, the unnecessary killings. How come these other places have not gotten a national outcry as it has gotten in Edo State? And we're not in any way saying that what happened in Edo State is right, but how come that the same energy is not being given? The DSS is not going to Ebonyi to ask questions. The DSS is not in Benue State to ask questions. How come the president has not spoken on all of those issues? And this is not just on President Tinubu. We're talking about back all the way to former President Buhari. We've seen these things happen over and over again. Many would say that, with the coming of Tinubu's administration, there was this whole ranching idea that was being touted or floated. One would have thought that this would have reduced the movement across borders, but that has not necessarily been the case. Why do you think that in Nigeria, ranching is some sort of a no-go area when we want to talk about that to ease the problems of farmer herders crisis. Why are certain people allowed to carry weapons across this country and the police security agencies can look away, but then several other people, if they were to be caught with the same items, would be declared as enemy of state or killers? Why is there that dichotomy that is very obvious to even the blind person?
I don't know if you watched a video of the DSS director yesterday or thereabout. I just saw it yesterday, where he was saying practically that security agencies around the country, as the Army, Police, DSS, Civil Defense, Customs, Immigration, all of the armed forces can't protect Nigeria. And he was suggesting that people should form community vigilante groups to fight back. He even gave an example of a place called Balewa Village in Bauchi. Gave another one, I think Azari, where he said the people mobilized themselves and went out, they were attacked, but they went around and killed all the terrorists. So the problem is that it shows that these guys don't even know what they are doing. This is this director of DSS recommending pretty much also jungle justice. He even mentioned his hometown, where he said he has used his own guidance to ask people how to arm themselves. But here we are. There are people who have asked for community police and they've asked for state police. And I said, no, we can't give them state police, we can't give them community. But it's fine for you to have vigilantes running things. Let me tell you, the reason why people are upset about or are condemning what happened in Uromi is that there's no time that there's jungle justice in Nigeria that people don't condemn it. It was clearly jungle justice. You capture a few people, some guys in a trailer, and then you start beating them up. And to make it a little more, gut-wrenching, you capture it on tape, you douse them with gasoline, petrol, and you beat them to death, and then you burn them alive. When it happened in one, I think it was University of Port Harcourt students, 4 of them, or was it
Alu 4? It was Alu 4.
Alu 4. People reacted the same way, There was a time this year, I think it was last year, in Kogi State, there was this whole lynching going on. They would say, somebody has disappeared with your manhood. Before you ask Jack Robinson, the person has been beaten with a 2x2 wood, and they're getting killed. People reacted the same. I don't think there's no way anybody's going to be in love with jungle justice. And the reason why people react towards jungle justice is that it could happen to anybody. You could just be driving and find yourself in a place where things, and before somebody can just make a false alarm against you. So the problem is with leadership. The problem is the security agency's ability to respond to distress calls. But they are not able to do that because they are more interested in protecting those in power. The same DSS that hasn't been able to arrest people in the north. Let's declare a protest tomorrow. They will be able to find all the protest leaders and arrest them. They can even arrest you for thinking about a protest. You say something against the government, DSS will come and arrest you for cybercrime. They will track you down. The Nigeria police is capable of tracking any activist down and arrest them. We just got a guy out after 50 days of detention from the FCID last week because he said something against the IG of police and the wife of the president and Sowore, and they don't like it. You got another guy arrested because he said something about, General Basia Adeboye. You got him locked up. He was going to be rearrested last week until we intervened again. So how is it that the DSS is willing to risk all their men and women to arrest people who are engaging in free speech, but can't find all the terrorists carrying assault rifles, weapons, from the north to the south? It's because they're not out there anymore doing security work. They're working for their masters. And like I said earlier, before the system was cracking up, when we started this conversation, I think, and this is my own theory, that the people in government in Nigeria are no longer interested in managing the entire Nigerian space. They just want to be managing the pocket of spaces that are available, that is manageable, that is safe, so that they don't have to be responsible for building new schools. So they prefer that your areas are occupied by bandits, terrorists, kidnappers, so that they'll tell you that they can't get there. So you can be a governor in Borno State now, everybody will be saying action governor. Why would you be action governor if you're collecting the money meant for 20-something local government, but you are only working in one city, which is practically Maiduguri? Everybody, you would think you have action now. If you go to Yobe, it's the same thing. Half of the place is occupied. The southeastern part of Nigeria is under martial law. I don't know why nobody says that. Everywhere in the southeast, every kilometer there's a military checkpoint. If you have your hair looking like that of Bob Marley, dreadlocks, you can get killed. If you're young and you're bold, they'll shoot you, they'll kill you. And then they're ransacking villages. If you go to the Niger Delta region, the militants, some of them are back, and the ones that are not back are threatening to be back. So you go everywhere, it's kidnapping left, right, and center. So, but the leaders of Nigeria are having a great time. The allocations don't stop. Just like I was talking about Borno. Borno has one city that is clearly under control of the Nigerian government. But go and look at the election results. During the election, you still get the same number of voters when there was no Boko Haram as it is when there's Boko Haram.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. Omoyele Sowore is here with us. We're talking about insecurity in Nigeria and the supposed politicization of the issue. Where do we go from here? Will be my next question when we come back from the break. This is Hard Facts.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Start your children's day with a great taste of Ovaltine, enriched with multi-nourishment, calcium, malt, and vitamin B12 to support learning and playtime. Ovaltine, smart choice for smart kids.
Are you aware that your wealth can go further? Way further. Think about it. You could be investing in Dubai or buying a home in the United Kingdom. Big opportunities need big thinking and the right partner. That's where we come in. With Standard Chartered Bank Nigeria Limited, you get more than just banking. You get access to a global network and tailored solutions designed to grow, manage, and protect your wealth for generations to come. Whether you're looking to invest, expand, or secure your legacy, we are here to help you make the right moves at the right time. So, why wait for an opportunity when you can stay ahead of the curve? Now's your time for wealth. Open a Standard Chartered Priority Banking account between March 17th and May 15th to receive a 500,000 Naira voucher. T's and C's apply. Email prioritybanking.ng@sc.com to start.
Mr. As my guy don't win, me say don't ginger. No dollar. With the jolly just come welcome offer. Download BetKing app and register today using the promo code FREEBETS to enjoy your 100 Naira instant sign-up bonus and other exciting offers. Terms and conditions apply. Not for persons under 18 years. Play responsibly.
It's the greatest for me. Hunger makes your cooking fun. We go fill your belly, enjoy the taste and aroma daily.
Onga for great taste and aroma.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development and the care they need with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. NanKid 4, nourish your child's potential.
Pocari Sweat. My ions, please, can't get enough. My ions, please, give it to me now. Pocari Sweat. It gon' rehydrate you, yeah. Replenish your ions with Pocari Sweat. Rehydrate you faster, easy, we observe. Pocari Sweat. Give me some more. Pocari Sweat.
What is the square root of pi by 4?
4.0.
Wow, that's my girl. The Cowbellpedia Mega Minds is here. Don't miss a single moment of the action in the Cowbellpedia Mega Minds 2025 edition.
Over the 14 weeks, viewers also stand a chance to win prizes when they participate from home.
Tune in to Cowbellpedia Mega Minds on Africa Magic or visit our website at cowbellpedia.tv to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Cowbell. So good, so smart.
The question is not why South Africa. The real question is how you South Africa. How you'll come across 1,000 tongues that all speak in one voice. Welcome. How you can wake up with one foot firmly planted in the Indian Ocean and the other in the Atlantic Ocean. How diamonds and couture are but a stone's throw away from the safari. How your tongue will visit 1 million destinations on one plate. How your feet will sway in djembe, your torso in amapiano, and your mind in bliss. How crystal clear rivers flow in the day, and crystal flows in the night. Whoa. We know this because this is how we South Africa every single day. And this is why we invite you to South Africa with us. So come see, touch, taste, and feel South Africa. Come journey with us. Visit www.southafrica.net and see for yourself.
What can your bank do for you? Meet Jane, 25 years old. She's been having troubles acquiring a loan from her bank.
This is not okay at all. I've been on this queue forever, and you're saying I should fill another form. What's going on?
What can your bank do for you? Meet Frank, 27 years old, held up in traffic and making fruitless transactions.
Mama, I have saved the airtime, even the electricity charges. I don't know why it's so difficult making this payment.
Introducing Sowore, a lifestyle digital bank that's designed just for you. With one click, you can make easy and fast payment transactions, pay bills, and even acquire easy loans. Hurry and download the Sowore app on your Play Store. Visit sowore.com for more information. Sowore, borderless banking.
For 3 great seasons, the fans have fought with passion and fire. Their best they brought. The banter was bold, the debates were tight. Each word a weapon, each match a fight. But now it's bigger, the stakes much higher. The battle returns, and it's full of fire. Fan Battle 4 with Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The stage is bang. In partnership with Sports Salon, we raise the game with glory, honor, and a shot at fame. Think you've got what it takes to score? Then step right up. It's time for more. Register now and take your stand. Your time to shine is now at hand.
Registration is ongoing on www.nigeriainfo.fm.
And Battle 4. Let the battle begin.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
This is Hard Facts.
Yes, it is Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info, 32 minutes gone past the 5 o'clock hour. It's on the Big Hard Facts today. We're looking at insecurity in Nigeria. These killings across the country, whether it be in the north, the south, the east, the west, the middle belt. We're asking, why is this continuing? Again, why is there some sort of subtle politicization of the issue of insecurity? Is there some level of favoritism that's at play here? Are our governments incapable of handling the situation or just paying lip service to it? Where do we go from here? How do we handle this issue? What do we need to say or do for the scales to be balanced in dealing with these issues? Just again, like our guest has been saying, there's several things that are happening in several parts of the country that's not being reported or, not paid attention to. Why is that the case? And are our leaders really capable and ready to deal with the insecurity in Nigeria, or would they rather gloss over it? Omoyele Sowore is the former presidential candidate for the AAC, and he is with us via Zoom. Before you went on that break, you were obviously saying that the Southeast is being politicized. Now, I'll tell you something. Just before the close of 2023, if I'm not mistaken, the Southeast governors had what I would call a tea party, saying that they were, talking about insecurity and how they were going to handle it. As far as I know, and as far as I've traveled in the Southeast, the only state that does not necessarily have any issue of insecurity is Enugu State. Anambra does, Imo has, and several others. What exactly are the governor, or what is the governor of Enugu State doing that the Southeast governors are unable to copy and replicate in their states to put an end to the insecurity? The South has somewhat enjoyed some sort of relative peace, other than the every now and again communal clashes. Every part of the country has had its fair share. I remember in 2021 when I went to, I think, Ogun State to visit a monarch who his subjects had been, the farms of his subjects had been sacked by armed gunmen. This was in 2021. I don't think it's as pronounced as what's happening now in your state, Ondo State, and several other states in the Southeast, in the Southwest, I beg your pardon. What do you think needs to be done, or what needs to happen for our leaders? And I'm not just talking about the presidency. I'm talking about state governors. I'm talking about House of Assembly members. I'm talking about our legislators and local government chairmen, all of the people who are saddled with the responsibility of protecting lives and property. What needs to happen for all hands to be on deck?
Well, if you suck at your job, what do you get from your bosses? You get fired. Nigerian people are their bosses. These guys suck at their jobs, and everybody ought to have been fired. That was the reason why I was particular about the IG of police since 2024. That particularly in the police force has the biggest or the largest population of all security forces. I think about 250,000 of them. You can have at the top of the Nigerian police force and a competent human being who is only clinging to the leadership of the police force due to nepotism. And see the results now. Even if he were to be police boss, who is legitimately in office, and all these things are happening under his watch, you fire him. Well, he's tired, but he refuses to retire. And you see part of the effect is that the police can't curb insecurity. The army has come in, and they can't help. We keep doubling our security men and women on a daily basis without a security strategy. And I've said it clearly, the security strategy is not necessarily the number of guns and bullets that are available to security men and women. It's the number of bowls of food that's available to eat first and foremost, the availability of jobs, the availability of education, and things that bring about progress. If there is no economic and social security in any society, there's no amount of bullets. If you like, you can go and make an atomic bomb and put it in every village and try to blow them up if there's insecurity. It still won't stop until you address the issue of inequality, of poverty, of hunger, starvation in the land, and lack of opportunity. So that is the first way to start. You cannot destroy the naira, right? Increase price of fuel. Ask the telephone companies or mobile companies to start price gouging on data users, for instance, of which MTN is the most criminal in my view. And then you ask the electricity companies to jack up, the cost of electricity. you put the people at risk. They cannot survive. What do you think people do when they can't survive? They engage in survival, very dangerous survival tactics. And probably the most common is engaging in crime of all kinds. So if somebody can't eat and he's sitting around and looking around and some three guys come and say, why don't we form an armed robbery gang or a kidnap gang? Why won't he join, hoping that they don't catch him? Or they say, okay, let me buy a laptop, you can do Yahoo Yahoo. What do you think is going to happen? Because they know their leaders are also engaging in Yahoo of a different kind. They're scamming the entire situation, they're making money. But you mentioned all these guys. Ask, what are they doing? Are they paying even teachers? No. Do they even go to work? No. What has your National Assembly done in the last probably 3 weeks or 1 month? Instead of addressing the problem of inequality,
they've passed. They've passed 39 bills, and they're trying to alter the constitution.
They're just suspending people and distracting you every day, and paying for all kinds of crazy stuff. That's all they're doing. The bills that they claim they have passed, I can guarantee you that none of those bills will ever be signed because they're just trying to use that to distract the attention of the public because now people are saying, oh, what are you people doing there? Oh, okay, we are passing 39 bills. Are there only 39 people in the National Assembly? Why 39 bills since 2023 that they came into office? Why 39 bills? And the bills are just reaching second reading after the Natasha Fabio scandal broke. So you should understand their tactics by now. And it behooves on the Nigerian people to understand that these guys are not here to work for you. They're here to help themselves. And as long as you expect them to do anything for you, then the longer your life, your limb, and your well-being is at risk. That's why I mentioned at the beginning of this, my opening statement, that when people suck at their job, fire them.
Okay.
Just fire them.
I want to quickly ask you before I open up the phone lines. By the way, we're live facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. Omoyele Sowore is with us. Of course, we're talking about insecurity in the country and the politicization of this issue. And of course, where we're going with all of this. Is there an end in sight? Is there a solution? He's saying that, the government is not necessarily interested. But do you agree? And how do we get them to be more invested in dealing with this insecurity and putting an end to it? I want to talk to you briefly, Mr. Sowore, about the service chiefs. Let's start with the Minister of State for Defense, former Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawale. Let's talk about the Minister of Defense. Let's talk about these service chiefs. And you've spoken about the police chief, and you've given your reservations. Is it the caliber of men that hold the office that would determine, because these are supposedly advisors, these are the people who would point the president in the right direction. They're the guys who are involved in tactic and on all of these things. Is it the caliber of the people? Are these people capable of helping the situation? Or is it the leaders themselves who are not listening to the advice that's coming from these, security chiefs? Because I'm sure that there's a lot of intelligence gathering. But what do we do with that intelligence? If you've been following the news, you're a newsman. You've seen the number of guns that have come in between last year and this year. They keep coming in. Who is paying for these guns to come into the country? Where are these guns going? And how are we ever going to deal with insecurity with the porousness of our borders to start with?
I have to say...
Can you move back a little? You're out of frame.
Yeah, I have to say, and I have said it many times, the quality of men in these positions are going to be as a result of the quality of man who is at the top, who is doing the head hunting. You cannot have an incompetent headhunter help you recruit competent people into your company or your country or your cabinet. It's impossible. There is no way anybody should have allowed the guy from Zamfara, a failed governor, to become the Deputy Minister of Defense, or the guy who is the Minister of Defense, or the IG of Police that was spoken extensively about, or even the DSS guy who is now turning out to be also another incompetent person who is recommending that people should just carry arms, bow and arrows. Meanwhile, I know, for instance, that every local government has a DSS representative that is supposed to be gathering intelligence. But what does the DSS do these days? Is going to court, abducting people, and helping big people detain their opponents. DSS has gotten to the point that they have become even debt collectors. You can get DSS to help you arrest somebody if they owe you money, just like you can get the army to do it. You can get the army to help you, carry out smuggling. Yes.
No,
but you can get the army to help you carry out
these are
smuggling.
heavy allegations.
Yes.
You cannot make these allegations against the army and the DSS. Come on.
You just mentioned a few minutes ago that I'm a news person. So if I'm a news person, does it not mean that I have a lot of news on my fingertips? I get this information probably better than most. But I told you that I don't like to be referred to as a journalist because I'm a busybody. But I have information available to me, and that this is not disputable information, that the DSS abducts people. DSS abducted a husband and wife from I think Abia State, who have been missing for 4 years. Husband and wife, they took them, do you know there's a place they drop people that they claim are terrorists called Wawa Barracks in Niger State. And people just died there, People are disappeared every day in this country because they attack IPOB members. And you just take you away, husband and wife. There's a lecturer who's been in detention. Even when the judges give order for their release, DSS would not honor the judgment. So you're living in a country where you have incompetent men and women, or in between, running your security agencies. So you cannot expect the country to work. And then the man at the top, it's the same. It's always like going on working visit. Nigeria is the foreign country to the president of Nigeria. France is his home. So he visits here just on vacation, and he goes to France to work.
Okay, let me open up the phone lines because I see the phone lines blinking and we don't have too much time. Lagos, you want to join the conversations? I beg your pardon. How do we hold our leaders to account, especially with dealing with insecurity? Today it might be Uromi, tomorrow it might be Lagos. How do we stop it from happening? 0201-277-0993, 0201-465-7190. If you're listening from outside of the country, you can join the conversation on WhatsApp. It's 08095975805. You can also join the conversation on X. Use the hashtag #HardFacts. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. Post your comment on there. 60 seconds. Just go straight to the point. Hello.
Hi, Maryann.
Yes.
Good evening once again.
Good evening. Go straight to the point, please.
First off, let me commend Omoyele Sowore for his good job, because he's more or less the only opposition we hear sounding loud and clear. God bless you, sir. Now, my question is this. Maryann, with this incessant jungle justice, since we are saying our government should buckle up and do the needful, instead of politicizing these killings, you parade the headsmen, you don't parade the headsmen while you parade other people. Now, if we have to is not make justice, why it should I want to speak that.
Thank you. Hello. Leading copies.
Yeah, please, I'll thank the followers that you have your program and all of you. So, we are bringing up their call and act. This is important. Said they are to fight for Nigeria. At the same time, please, my brother, for the sake of the dread, watch Nigeria.
Talk to facts. Sorry, please call back. Welcome to facts.
Hello.
Where are you from?
This SMN go to pushing the should go to pushes. I will do this SMN. I will to money for the president governor hold pull up. Get no money for the let the SMN go back to their bush thing to agree with their
Thank you very much for calling. Welcome to facts.
Hello.
You're the one the fans.
Hello.
Good evening. Where are you from? Speak again.
Yeah, let me get from the I sure from the bit of time ago, I really fascinating. I know I actually know what we actually really high the whole thing. I'm expecting our country to actually know the Christmas. You love
Thank you much. It's a show with hooked.
I don't think I was happy to myself if your brother is where it is naturally well to. There's nobody who knows so this time. start exception only comes because the trade run most times fees for back there people put in so those all across and standard so I agree what way that we have to pay people as soon better in the source and all to pay them as we also and they have a duty to have one interest. This is these where I don't like how compare that so people them can like everything I said they don't pay let's treatment so because it's police and has no the fight immediately number to about 2 minutes is that where the table the agencies way the answer to let us time it is a quick power if somebody take K-47 and you only have bow and arrow the likelihood that you can protect yourself is very limited because your enemies are more better armed than you are. So this is the reason why the conversation about protection for all is very important. I am the one who has proposed that if I were to be president of Nigeria, one of the first things I would do is to create state police, there will be local government police, there will be campus police, there will be police everywhere. What I will focus on is regulation, supervision, and enforcement, and to ensure that all the training is uniform, so that you don't give guns to some people. The way they are behaving in Edo is different from the way they are behaving in Ondo State. There has to be a central police that can go in and intervene or make sure that the regulations are well enforced. We don't. Otherwise, everybody is entitled to police. In America, every town, village has a police department. Even if the mayor of the place is a goat, they will have a police department. They don't play with that. In addition to that, in the U.S., people are allowed to possess weapons. You can license and get your own gun.
Because that's in their constitution. In our country, it's not in our constitution.
Yes. But let me be very clear about that. I am not in support of the carrying of guns in the U.S. because that's how they mold themselves down on a daily basis. I am more interested in having people well-trained, empowered, motivated, and organized to protect all. Okay. It's the reason why if I'm president of Nigeria, there will not be special protection unit in the police force that is running after big men. Every Yahoo guy has an SP running after them, and their guns
we have to
better
go.
than the ones that
we have to go. Mr. Omoyele Sowore, I want to say...
Let me thank all the callers. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for being part of the conversation. We're really hoping that the powers that be listen to Nigerians and begin to see what we can do about this situation. But it's an ongoing conversation. Omoyele Sowore is the former presidential candidate for the AAC in the last presidential election in 2023. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, Lagos, there you have it. I want to say thank you to all of you for being part of the conversation. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, MIMIEYO. My name is Maryann Okon. Follow Nigeria Info on all of its platforms. Enjoy the rest of our programs. The news comes up at the top of the hour. See you tomorrow.
Credible journalism.
More conversation, more talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.